Hello, year five. Hope all of you are doing so well. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at the revision pack, and we're going to go through each page and revise everything together here in two videos. And this is part one. Okay. First thing that we're going to have a look at over here is the place value of decimals. Okay, so here in the first page, you have a question that is asking you to sort the numbers in the table. Okay, so here they're asking you, for example, about the numbers that have 7 in the 10th place. So what are the numbers that have 7 in the 10th place? Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do over here is start circling with you. Of course, you're not going to circle. They want you to write it down, but because I'm going to be very slow writing this on the computer with a pen, so I'm going to just underline them. So here, 7 in the 10th place. So where is the 10th place? The 10th place is the first digit after the decimal point, which is this one. This is the 10th place, the first digit after the decimal point. Here, do I have 7 in the 10th place? No. As you see here, they want 7 in the 10th place to be written over here. Okay. Do they have here 7 in the 10th place? No. Where's 7 in the 10th place so far? Oh, this is the first one over here. So you're going to need to write this. And also you're going to need to write this one. It has 7 in the 10th place. Look, the first digit after the decimal is 7, and so on. All right, the second one over here is asking you about 4 in the hundredths place. 4 in the hundredths means the second digit after the decimal point is 4. Like what? Is this 4 in the hundredths? No, this is not 4 in the hundredths. This is 4 in the 10th place. So where is 4? Like what? 4 in the hundredths. Still here, 4 in the 10th place. Here, 4 in the 10th place, but we want 4 in the hundredths, like this one over here is 4 in the hundredths, 4 in the hundredths, and there is still more. Okay, so the next one here says 1 in the 10th place, exactly the same. All right, until they say to you here 2 in the 10th place and 6 in the hundredths place, which is the last one over here. Guys, I hope that you're using a laptop or a bigger screen, not your phones, because it's going to be so tiny and small on your phone. So I hope that you're using your laptop to watch the videos. Okay, so they want here 2 in the 10ths and 6 in the hundredths. So the first digit after the decimal must be 2, and the second digit after the decimal must be 6. So it's 0.26 actually. Where's 0.26 in here? Here you go. This is the only number that is going to have 2 in the 10th place and 6 in the hundredths place. Okay. Let's continue. Here is the Venn diagram. Again, the same thing exactly. In the Venn diagram, just reminding you of the concept, anything that is going to be written over here in this area is going to have 4 in the 10th place. And anything in this area over here is going to have 7 in the hundredths place. That's what the question says, 7 in the hundredths place. All right, Mr. Ahmed, what about the area in the middle over here? What is going to be written here? It is any number that has both 4 in the 10th place and 7 in the hundredths place. You have the answer key on Google Classroom. You can do this on your own first, then you get back to the answer key to check your answers. All right. The second page over here is just asking you to use the Carroll diagram. And I want you to give me your full attention here, because here they want you to write some numbers here, some numbers in this box, some numbers in this box, and some numbers in this box. All right, what are the numbers that you're going to write? They want you to write here any number that has 8 in the 10th place and 9 in the hundredths place. 8 in the 10ths, 9 in the hundredths. No, not this one. I'm not going to write this down here. I'm not going to write this here. No, I will not. Why? Because, yeah, Mr. It has 8 in the 10ths. Yes. But does it have 9 in the hundreds? No, so I'm not going to write this. So what am I going to write? I need 8 in the tenths, 9 in the hundreds, which is going to be, where is it? Here you go. 8 in the tenths, 9 in the hundreds. It's got to be here. All right, okay. So what is next? They want here, in this question mark, let's have a look at this one here. They want 8 in the tenths, but not 9 in the hundreds. Anything but not 9. So 8 in the tenths, but not 9 is here. I can take this one, 8 in the tenths, but not 9 in the hundreds. I can take this one, it's 8 in the tenths, but it's not 9 in the hundreds. What else can I take? I guess that's it. All right, what are the numbers that have 9 in the hundreds, not 8 in the tenths? So any number that has 9 in the hundreds, but in the tenths, anything but not 8. 9 in the hundreds, and not 8 in the tenths is this one. I'm going to change the color. Here is 9 in the hundreds, but not 8 in the tenths. 9 in the hundreds, but not 8 in the tenths. 9 in the hundreds, not 8 in the tenths. Anything else? I think that's it. 9 in the hundreds, but not 8 in the tenths. All right, what is next? The last one. Not 8 in the tenths, not 9 in the hundreds. You're gonna find everything else doesn't have an 8 in the tenths and doesn't have a 9 in the hundreds. Look at this one over here. No 8 in the tenths, no 9 in the hundreds. No 8 in the tenths, no 9 in the hundreds. No 8 in the tenths, no 9 in the hundreds. All the other numbers are going to be written over here. Okay, let's move to the next page. The next page over here is about like transforming or the word form into standard form, like 8 million, Mr. All of them are 8 million. 208,000, 208,000. This is not 208,000, this is only 2,000. 280, no, 208,000. Okay, this one is not 208,000. So the only one, without even continuing the number, the only one that is correct is going to be this one. Same technique exactly with question number 2 and question number 3, but 3 here, they're asking you about the place value and the value. They're saying to you, what is the value of the digit 5 in this number? 5 is in which place? We know that before the decimal point, or when I have a whole number, the first is units, then tens, then hundreds, then thousands, then 10,000s. So the value of 5 is 5 10,000s or 50,000. So it is 50,000. 5 10,000s means 50,000. All right, not to confuse you, look at this. 5 10,000s. I have it here. Imagine this. All right, this is going to confuse you a little bit. Here we have 5 10,000. So which means here 10,000. 1 second. Imagine 10,000, 10,000s, 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 10,000s. This is 5 in the 10,000s place. So it is going to make actually 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10, 50. It's 50,000s. Okay. Next, here is partitioning. Partitioning, of course, it is 430,000. 430,927. So 430,927. How many digits are there in 5 million? We know that 5 million is 5 and 6 zeros, so it is 7 digits. Okay, now we're going to get into fractions, decimals, and percentages. Okay, all right, when you have a shape like the one that we have over here, and they want you to write it as a percentage, the same to you, what percentage of each diagram is shaded? What percentage of each diagram is shaded? The first thing that you need to write over here is writing it first as a fraction. What fraction is shaded? Here, Mr. We know that this is a 10, 20, 30, 42. So it is 42 over 100. 42 over 100, which is gonna be what as a percentage? Don't forget that they want the percentage, they don't want it as a fraction. It's going to be 42%. So this is 42%. All right, I'm not going to continue from here. I'm going to go to the Active Inspire application that I have over here, and we're going to practice in there. All right, so if I have a shape like this one over here, and I'm asking you what percentage of the following shape is shaded? What percentage of the following shape is shaded? I'm going to write it first as a fraction. To know the percentage, I need to write it first as a fraction. You must write it first as a fraction. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 10 is 20, but only 19 of the 20 are shaded. So it is 19 over 20. What percentage is this? We agreed in class before that in order to convert any fraction into a percentage, the denominator must be 100, because percentage means out of 100. So multiply this one over here by 5. Multiply this one over here also by 5. This is going to be here 95 over 100. 95 over 100, which means 95%. Okay, guys? Again, so I multiply the 20 by 5, it is 100. And 19 by 5, it is 95. Now I know that I can convert any fraction over 100 into a percentage. 95 over 100 is 95%. So make sure if they ask you what percentage of a specific shape is shaded, make sure that you convert this shade, the shaded parts into a fraction, then convert the fraction into a percentage by making the denominator 100. And what happens to the denominator in multiplication or division must happen to the numerator. So at the end, we found that it is 95%. Okay, let's continue. We need to go back over here. How can I convert fractions into decimals and percentages? All right. To convert any fraction into a percentage, there are some fractions that we need to know just exactly like our names. There is no need to think about them. Like what? Like here, the half. I know that the half is 0.5 as a decimal, which is 50% as a percentage. I know that the quarter is 0.25 as a decimal, 25% as a percentage. The 3/4 is 0.75 as a decimal and 75% as a percentage. 1/5 here, which is as a fraction, is going to be 0.2 as a decimal. You guys need to study this, you need to memorize it, you need to understand it. You just make sure that you know them all, okay? So 1/5, we know that it's 0.2, which is 20%, but 4/5, necessarily, if 1/5 is 0.2, so 4/5 is 0.2 times 4, which is 0.8, which is also 80%. All right, now I'm going to go back to the fractions that have 10 as a denominator or 100 as a denominator. If I say 7/10, it means 7/10, which means a 7 in the 10th place. So it's 0.7. And it is actually as a percentage 70%. 7 over 100 is 7 in the hundredths place, which is 7%. 7 out of 100 is 7%, not 70%. Just imagine someone getting in the math exam, for example, getting 7 out of 100 in the math exam. Do you think that 7 out of 100 in the math exam is 70%? No way. It is 7%, which means 7 out of 100. Okay, now we're going to go to 3 different fractions. If the denominator is something that we're not familiar with, like we know the half, the quarter, the 3/4, we know them all. We know how to convert a fraction that has 10 as a denominator, that has 100 as a denominator. But what if it has 20 as the denominator? What if it has denominator of 25, denominator of 50? All right, make sure that you make the denominators over 100, the fractions over 100. Like here, for example, this denominator over here, it's over 20. What are we going to multiply the 20 by to make it 100? We're going to multiply the 20 by 5 to make it 100. So 20 times 5 is going to be 100. Then what about the numerator, which is 9? Multiplied also by 5 is going to become 45. Guys, by the way, if this confuses you, the way I write the fractions is just because I don't have the option on this program to write it normally, like here, 9 over 20. This is how we write it. This is how you're going to see it in the exam. I need to make the denominator over 100, so I'm going to multiply the 20 as we agreed by 5. Always a mystery? Yes, you multiply the 20 always by 5 to make it 100. All right, guys? Please make sure that you know this very well. Whatever we did to the denominator must happen also to the numerator. So it's 5 times 9, which is 45. Okay, so now 9 over 20 has changed to become 45 over 100. Now I can convert 45 over 100 into a decimal, which is 0.45, and I can convert it into a percentage, which is going to become 45%. The same thing exactly with 4 over 25. 4 over 25. But the 25, we do not multiply it by 5 like the 20. No, we multiply the 25 by 4. So multiplying also here the 4 by 4 is going to give us 16 over 100. So if I have a fraction over 20 or a fraction over 25 or even a fraction over 50, I make them all over 100. All right, now it has become 16 over 100, which is 0.16 as a decimal, or 16% as a percentage. All right, the last thing over here on this table is 12 over 50, and we know that 12 over 50 needs to be changed into over 100. Multiplying the 50 by 2 becomes 100. Then 12 times 2 is going to become 24. So like this, I changed 12 over 50 into 24 over 100, which is 0.24, which is 24%. All right, how can I convert? Now we learned everything about changing the fractions into decimals and into percentages. How can I change the decimals into fractions and percentages? This is 0.8. How can I make it into a fraction? It is 8 in the tenths place, so it is 8 tenths, which means 8 over 10. Okay, mister, but they might ask us to write this in the simplest form. They might want you to do it in the simplest form. Okay, what is the meaning of simplest form, Mr. Ahmed? Simplest form means you make it simpler, you make it smaller By what? By multiplying? No, by dividing. So ask yourself, if you are asked in the exam to write a fraction in the simplest form, then make sure that you divide both numbers, the numerator and the denominator, by the same thing. What is the number that you can divide 8 and 10 by? I can divide both of them by 2. Perfect. So 8 divided by 2 is going to become 4. 10 divided by 2 is going to become 5. So 0.8 is actually 4 over 5 as a fraction, or 8 over 10, but before simplifying, if the question says to you, put the answer in the simplest form, then you must simplify. All right, 0.29, it is actually 29, but in which place is it 29 tenths? No, mister, it is in the hundreds, so it is 29 hundredths, which is 29 over 100. Good. Let's read the last one over here. 0.07, which is what? It is 7 over 10? No, it is 7, you must say, in the hundreds place, which means 7 over 100. Can I simplify, mister? Ask yourself. Is there a number that you can divide both of them by? Can you divide the 100 by 7 and the 7 by 7? No, I can divide the 7 by 7, but I cannot divide the 100 by 7. Mister, it is already in the simplest form. I'm going to just leave it like this because there is nothing that I can divide both of them by. Okay, let's now get back to the revision pack. And I'm going to go through it from the beginning. Page number 2 over here, we covered it in the video. We covered also page number 3. We covered pages number 4 and number 5. We covered also page number 6, converting this into a percentage by first making it as a fraction, then turning the fraction into a percentage. We covered everything over here. Question number 3, we're going to get back now to question number 2. We haven't covered it yet. We covered question, no, not number 4. Okay, but we covered this page, page number 7. Everything in it is about fractions, decimals, and percentages. Here they're asking you about what fraction of the fence did he paint. So the fraction here is obvious, it's 3 over 5. But what percentage they now converted the 3 over 5 into a percentage, as we learned a few minutes ago, and the answer is there in the answer key on Google Classroom. Okay, we're going to stop here. I'm going to go back to the things that we haven't covered yet, which is here question number 2. How can we do this question? Ask yourself. The saying here, Diana, Jane, and Janet share 2 cakes. Okay, if they're not drawn to you, you draw the 2 cakes this way. So I here have the 2 cakes. They are sharing it. What fraction of a cake does each one of them get? All right, no problem, mister. We drew the 2 cakes. Done. Now, the saying Diana, Jane, and Janet share 2 cakes. After drawing the 2 cakes, ask yourself, how many people are sharing the cakes? 3 people. So you're going to divide each one of them into 3 parts. Into 3 parts. They need to be equal, but since I'm not using a ruler, it is fine if they're not really accurate. Okay? 1 second. Here. Now we divided them into 3 parts. Why? Because we have 3 people sharing the 2 cakes. Each one of them will take a piece from here and a piece from here. So it is going to be what? 1/3 plus 1/3, 1 out of 3, plus 1 out of 3. Again, 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. This is what each one of them is going to take. Each one of them is going to take 1/3 from this and 1/3 from that. So each one of them is going to take 2/3. Okay. What is next? A fraction of an amount. We're going to do it right now. How to get a fraction of an amount. All right. A fraction of an amount. First thing, you need to make sure, like here, 3/8 of 40, or let's go back over there to that question that is up here. 3/10 of 80, it is the same. To find a fraction of an amount, you need to divide the amount by the denominator. What is 80 divided by 10? 80 divided by 10 is 8. After this, 8 times 3. So 8 divided by 10 is 8. Multiplied by 3 is going to give you 24. So again, 80 divided by 10 is 8 times 3 is going to give you 24. We divide by down, multiply by the numerator, 24. Okay, but Mr., what if I have a question like this over here? They're giving me the fraction and they're giving me the answer at the end, and I have the missing number. How can I do it? Go back and ask yourself, what is 40? Oh, Mr., up there we were dividing by the denominator. We were dividing down first. Yes, but here we're going to divide by up. 40 divided by 1 equals 40. Then times 10 equals 400. So 1/10 of 400 is 40. We divide by the numerator. We then will multiply by the denominator because I have the missing amount. The original number is missing. Okay. After I'm done, you can double check. How can I double check? Ask yourself, what is 1/10 of 400? Okay, Mr. 400 divided by 10 is 40. 40 times 1 is 40. Yes, I got it right. And this is how we get a fraction of an amount and how we get the original amount. All right, in such a question over here, comparing the fractions and percentages or fractions and decimals is just make them both the same. If this is a fraction, make it into a percentage, then compare. If this is also a fraction, make it into a percentage, then compare, and so on. So let's do, for example, the first one, 3/4, make it into a percentage. Mister, we learned only a few minutes ago in the same video that 3/4 is actually 75%. 75%. So let's compare. This is definitely greater. Okay? Keep going with in the same way with the rest of the questions. Make this as a percentage, then compare. Percentage, then compare. Percentage, then compare. All right. The next one over here. We also learned about the same thing. It is just so that you get the fraction out of 100, the percentage as a fraction out of 100. We know that it's 10 over 100. 10 over 100. But what is it in the simplest form? Simplest form, we took it, divide by 10, because this is the only number that I can divide both of them by. It's going to become 1 over 10. 1 over 10 is the simplest form. What is it as a decimal? It is 0.1. 0.1. All right, good. One of you might have thought about it, 10 over 100, Mister, I'm going to simplify, write the simplest form by dividing it by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5, and 100 divided by 2 is going to be 50. I simplified it, Mister, and I'm done. This is the simplest form. Well, what you did is not wrong, but actually, this is not the simplest form. You still need to simplify more. So, Mister, if I leave it this way, will it be correct? No, if you leave it this way, it will be wrong. So you have to simplify more, dividing it by 5. Dividing by 5 is going to become 1 over 10. So 5 over 50 is 1 over 10. exactly the same as 10 over 100 is 1 over 10, which is the decimal is 0.1. You can keep going the same way exactly through the 20%, 25%, and so on. All right, here, the next one here, they're asking you to find the odd one out. So make them all into percentages. I'm gonna do with you the first one. This is here 1 over 5. We know that it's 0.20, which is, or 0.2, which is 20%. And we know also that this is here 20%. Make this into a percentage, it's also 20%. The only one that is going to be different is 2 over 5, which is going to be 40%. 40%, this is the odd one. This is the only one that is different. Keep going with the rest of them. You know here that this is 40%. We know that this is exactly the same as 1/4. Okay? Here, this 2 over 8, if you simplify it, divide by 2 is going to become 1 over 4, which is 25%. 25%. Go to the next one over here, 3 over 12. Simplify it first, guys. Simplify. If you cannot convert it into a percentage, simplify it. So if you get a fraction that you cannot convert into a percentage, like 3 over 12 here, simplify it first. What is 3 over 12? It is going to become 1 over 4, dividing both of them by 3. 1 over 4 as a percentage, also 25%. So this is 25%. This is 25%. This is 25%. This is 40%. This is the odd one out. And so on with the rest of the questions. Change them into percentages, then start comparing to find the odd one out. We explained already how to do this, page 10. And now we are going to start converting the mixed numbers and improper fractions. So let's start with converting the improper fractions into a mixed number. The first thing that I'm going to do is copying the denominator. The denominator stays the same. Good, so 3 stays 3. What is next, mister? Ask yourself, how many 3s are in 7? I have 2 3s, mister, which make a 6. 2 3s and 1 will be left over, remainder 1. Again, how many 3s are in 7? 3, 6, 2 3s, mister, and 1 will be left over until I reach the 7. Let's try the next one. 5 stays the same. How many 5s are in 7? I have 1 5 only in 7, but there will be 2 remainder, 2 left over. So now I can convert them back into an improper fraction to check. How can I convert the mixed number into improper fraction? We're going to check over here. The denominator stays the same. Then, what about the numerator? 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 1 is going to become 11. So it is 11 over 5. This is how we convert the mixed number into improper fraction. Let's check over here. After we answered this, we want to check if it's correct or not. Convert the mixed number into improper fraction again. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7 over 3. Perfect, I got it right. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 2 is going to be 7. Perfect, I got it right. Now, guys, we have covered the first 11 pages of your pack. We're going to stop the first part of the revision, which is the video part 1. We're going to stop over here. And please don't forget to practice and answer all the questions that you have in the first 11 pages after you are done with watching part 1. Once you answer them on your own, make sure that you compare your answers with the answers in the answer key on Google Classroom. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you in part 2.